It's the meat event. I cannot wait for this fight. We've been looking forward to this fight for so long now. Two undefeated middleweights throw down one of the most anticipated middleweight title fights, probably of all time. Israel, the last stylebender, Adesanya, taking on Paulo the Eraser Costa. Izzy's 18-0, Eraser's 13-0, and both are just straight up savages in the octagon. Eraser's 2 years younger, 29 years old, looks like a Greek god, hits like a Mack truck. And this is a dude who walked down Yoel Romero. He walked down Yoel Romero. Whereas if you look at Izzy's fight versus Yoel, that was kind of a straight up snooze fest. Izzy did not fight him as aggressively as the Eraser did, instead choosing to fight a much more measured, much more technical fight against an always dangerous specimen in Yoel Romero. I know some thought that Yoel won both of those fights, but the big difference for me was that the Eraser dropped Yoel and landed some heavy damage on him, whereas the damage that Izzy accumulated on Yoel was not as significant overall. Izzy looking for his 9th straight win. He has wins over Yoel, as we mentioned. He KO'd and took the belt from Robert Whittaker, beat Kelvin, beat Anderson, beat Brunson, and also has a win over old Blocky, the blockhead Marvin Vittori. Regarding Izzy, do you think he's afraid, has no heart, and hasn't a good mindset? Stylebender or the Eraser, me boy?
So this one, I'm gonna have to go with the Eraser. I think a lot of people are going with Izzy. A lot of Kazis out there, a lot of anime fans. I think his anime kung fu just isn't gonna quite cut him this fight. He's got a real athlete. He's got C4's coach and himself training him. They're over in Brazil training him hard. So I just don't see any way the Eraser's not going home with this one.
How do you think the Eraser's going to get it done? Because I see it a little differently, whereas on the feet, I think Israel's going to have a clear advantage. I think he's going to maintain distance really well, and the brawling, always coming forward style of Costa, to me, just sounds destined to run into some sharp counters from Israel on the feet. How do you see the stand-up game going if you're going with Costa in this one?
Yeah, so I see this being a KO TKO in this fight. I think
Wow.
Costa's going to get it done. I'm going with 34%, just like Tapology over there. Seems that 66% are going with the anime guy, but I am not. The reason is you watch the Yoel Romero fight. It's going to show you a lot. Israel did not want to engage with Yoel. Costa did not care at all. Me assuming Israel's not going to really want to engage with Costa, except Costa's going to force him that he's got to engage,
Hmm.
unlike Yoel. If Costa isn't getting knocked out by Yoel, I don't think he's getting knocked out by Israel, to be honest. I think he could get, outpointed for a little bit, but man, Costa's just so dang tough. He's not like a meathead slow guy. He's wicked fast. He's
Sure.
just as fast, if not faster than Izzy. He just lacks in the reach. But him training with C4 gives me hope that he's prepared for a fight like this. So I think he's going to show him a trick or two.
That's an interesting point. You mentioned the reach of Paulo Costa, 72 inches to Izzy's 80-inch reach. So I think that that reach advantage is going to really actually be helpful for Adesanya. I'm going to go with Adesanya in this one. You had mentioned something about being outpointed in some of that fight. I think Costa's going to get outpointed in most of the fight. I do think it's going to go the distance. But truthfully, it wouldn't surprise me if Israel caught him with something stiff and maybe turned his lights out like he did with Robert Whittaker. Last question. You know a little bit about the world. If you were to attach some anime characters to these fighters, who is Costa and who is Adesanya?
Yeah, this is basically a Piccolo fight versus Brawly Super Saiyan. I think this is going to be an absolute erase fest off the planet of this galaxy.
Very interesting. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it. He's going with Costa. I'm going with the last stylebender. Thanks for grilling and chilling with us, me boys.